Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior and welcome to another Mortal Kombat video. Now in today's topic and discussion video, I wanted to talk about Jade and how exactly she tied to Kronika. Because as we do know, Kronika is going to be playing a very integral role to the main plot of Mortal Kombat 11, and there has been a lot of foreshadowing for Jade's return in this installment. Now I know she hasn't been confirmed for the main roster just yet, however there have been quite a few leaks that have been popping up over the last week or so that have all been pointing towards her making the main roster of the game. So I thought if this so happened to be true, as the supposed leaker does have some credibility, let's talk about what exactly is Jade's relationship with Kronika and how the characters may be tied to one another. Now before I get onto this, please do keep in mind, this video by all intents and purposes is very much so theoretical. I'm going to be putting a lot of ideas out here, so please do not take this as gospel. Anyway, let's talk about Jade. Now since the universe has been rebooted in MK9, there has been a lot of foreshadowing with Jade. Although I wouldn't say she's one of the most popular characters in the series, she definitely does have a prominent fan base. And what makes things extremely interesting here is that even after her death in MK9 is her sudden and very surprising disappearance in MKX, as she didn't appear amongst the other revenants and wasn't at any point in time referenced by them, understandably leading to many believing that Jade was in fact dead, instead of remaining in her revenant form. But I believe there's in fact more going on to this than I had previously believed, and this is where Kronika does come into the mix here. Now we don't know too much about Kronika. We know that she's been a deity that has been watching over the entirety of the Mortal Kombat series ever since the very beginning, but has not made her presence known up until now. The only reason she has done this is because Raiden has manipulated time to his own will, something which would understandably piss her off, as she is a being of time and Raiden is clearly tampering with something that he shouldn't be able to do. Now let's talk about Kronika before we go back to Jade. Although her goals aren't entirely clear, we know for sure that she wants to take down Raiden and has a servant known as Jades to assist her. However, that doesn't seem to be where it ends, as it looks like she will in fact be recruiting people to work under her. During a brief dialogue exchange between Jades and Scarlet, it somewhat does insinuate that they are allies and that they are working together.
Kronika will not abide your attack on me.
Your blood will make me immortal.
You are not the first to think so.
Plus, on top of this, when we got the gameplay reveal trailer, when we were introduced to a human version of Liu Kang and Kung Lao, who exist outside the main current timeline, it does seem like Kronika was attempting to recruit them under her control, but they seemingly declined and are now in conflict with her. However, in a behind the scenes video dropped by NRS, we do see a human Kung Lao battling a revenant Kung Lao and a human Liu Kang fighting a revenant Liu Kang. So I'm guessing if they rejected her offer, she still must have went through with the idea, but instead just decided to drop them off against their opposing timeline counterparts. Now the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I believe the same treatment has been applied to Jade. It would actually make sense, because the second anyone gets put under Quan Chi's control as a revenant, they do lose their free will and are stripped of their humanity. So in many ways, Kronika could be seen as Jade's savior. We could even take her MK9 ending and say that she wasn't just in a dream state, but her actual soul must have been trapped in her body and been living in some kind of limbo / purgatory state. It's only until Kronika reached out to her to which she was saved. Now one thing we do have to wonder is, will she still be in a revenant form under Kronika's control? Well, I don't think that's actually going to be the case at all. You see, if Kronika is able to save Jade of Quan Chi's control and she has the ability to manipulate time to her will, then I could see her pulling Jade out of her current timeline and dialing the years back a bit in order to cure her of her revenant state. I know it might sound crazy, but if we're able to pull two different timeline counterparts and have them fight against each other, then I don't think something like this is outside the realm of possibility. Plus we get this nice little cool move from Jades' trailer where he's able to dial back time in his moveset, so it's most certainly a possibility. And if my theory here just so happens to be accurate in any way, shape and form, then no doubt Jade would be in debt to Kronika, and seeing as she would most likely be very aware of Raiden's continuous mess ups of the timeline and the fact that it did lead to her death as well well as many others, then it wouldn't be crazy to believe that she would willingly side with Kronika. But despite doing this, it's very clear that from Kitana's own arcade ladder ending, that Jade still most certainly does have sentimental attachment towards Kitana, so she may only be joining Kronika's side in the hopes of saving and purging her friend of her revenant control. Who knows, Jade may even convince Kitana to also join Kronika's side. So that's one of my ideas. The other two are fairly simple. A Jade that appears in this timeline will be a Jade that actually comes from a different timeline, or if we want to go down a very kind of dark route and show off just how ruthless Kronika could be as a character, is that during Jade's dream state, instead of Jade actually accepting Kronika's offer, she does decline it, and Kronika in a fit of rage actually erases this version of Jade from time. Now I know that might sound a little bit absurd, but it actually does play into the fact that in MKX, no one once ever mentions Jade by name. The only reference we do have of her in game is her appearance in the arcade ladder ending, and the small reference she does have in Kitana's moveset, that being mournful. Now if Jade were to be erased from the timeline, it may be one of those instances where all history about her is completely removed. So in a way she may have never existed here, and because Kronika couldn't bend this version of Jade to her will, she could have just popped over to another timeline and extracted a version of Jade from there. But those are my ideas for how Jade could be connected to Kronika in Mortal Kombat 11. Remember, this is all theoretical. We don't know too much about the main story right now, but with time travel being an integral part of the main plot, it really does open up a lot of possibilities and different ways of writing in a character to a story, especially if they are dead. So right now the potential is honestly limitless. But yes, that more or less does wrap it up for this video, guys. Now how do you think Jade will be connected to Kronika? As let's face it, there's been a lot of foreshadowing of Jade's return. The leaker, who has been accurate, says that Jade will be making the roster, and you do have to wonder how integral will she be to the main plot. Voice your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm honestly interested to hear what everyone has to say, as I did say that the potential is limitless. But yeah, that's kind of it for this video, guys. Now before it does wrap up, I have a very important announcement. I'll be doing a remaster of all of my Mortal Kombat history of videos. Let's start off with the first ever history of video I ever made on this channel, History of Scorpion. If my timing is right and I schedule everything well, then the History of Scorpion video should be out this Saturday, and much like I promised in the original video, I actually will be covering the comic book section. So if you are interested, please do keep an eye out for that. I will be remastering all of those videos and getting you all up to date with some characters just before Mortal Kombat 11's release, so you definitely want to stick around for more. Anyway, before this video wraps up, if possible, let's try getting it to about 500 likes. It's a great way of supporting this channel since YouTube's ad system is broken as hell. So by giving it a thumbs up, it helps out a ton. And also don't forget to tick that bell, as YouTube, once again, has a lot of problems with my videos not appearing in your sub boxes. So by doing so, it helps me out and most certainly helps you out. Anyway guys, as always, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I'll see you all next time.